Atlantis Vertigo Part 2. Just before the lights came back up, as I left the pod and carefully set my feet back on each stair, I looked ahead to the tilted floor of the ramp and set myself into careful motion, swaying with the chosen 30. Some said that the end was near, and I could see that the beginning was near, and that there would be no turning back from the bath of liquid sunshine of the Silicon Age. At the base of the tower, in the house cage, the Detroit people were playing dimensional homophonic sound, the House of God. A dance fell into my step as I moved toward the elevator, and at the entrance I spotted Jason. He was wearing his graphite lenses and smoothing back his blonde hair. The girl who'd sold me the John Player specials on the mountain wasn't with him. He was alone and headed for the t-shirt vendor. I banged his knuckles with mine and told him about the shaman mix and that I'd just come back from the tour. I kept walking at the elevator and kept straight on to the vendors, and then I was in the frictionless tunnel again. At the top, things had changed. People were sitting on the rug with their backs to the glass, and there was a little bit more space to dance. I stood for a bit and just took in the sound. Piercing harmonic frequencies at enormous decibels and hyperclarity, bass guitar samples that made the high ground shake, frenetic loops of syncopated swing jazz drums, sputtered hiccups of triangle and sawtooth wave modulating in burst pulses. I was inside a lightning bolt of audio, watching the frantic motion of hip-cracking thigh twists and knife-handed jabs into the air. People wearing sun-in and electric Kool-Aid in their hair passed, as the Chinese dragons of firecracking wave sample barraged the pulse of my heart. I nearly cried at the beauty of the smiles on their lips and the smiles on their linen. A warm tear ran down my right cheek as I smiled back and swallowed it. The salt hit me and I realized that it was time to drink. Liquid adrenaline was there. I had never directly competed with them, so I let them fix me a drink. Bananas, wild cherry drink mix, orange juice, and L-phenylalanine. I gave them the extra $2 for the choline because I wanted to see the walls breathe. I took a sip of the wet cherry-chipped ice concoction and walked to the steps ringing the outer rim. The liquid adrenaline people were smiling too, and that's when I lost track of time. I slowly let myself down on the steps and pulled a Benson & Hedges Special King Light Menthol cigarette from the sky blue pocket. The flame flickered on my Bic disposable after I struck the flint, and I pulled my sunglasses down slightly so that I could watch myself start the correct end of the cylinder smoke. I watched the ice swirl in the cup and had another sip, and as I started to realize that I was beginning to forget, I was forgetting the sand volleyball pit of my first day away at school, forgetting paintball in the forests of Illinois, forgetting fraternity football in the rain of October, forgetting the grain alcohol behind the bar in the basement at the Pledge Halloween party, forgetting two girls who wanted to buy me a pizza while I was trying to write a song, forgetting Cool Vaughn at the Air Force ROTC and our Fortran 77 class, forgetting business English and being carried to calculus during a sea while drunk, forgetting being thrown into a pool after a game of Risk in the living room of the house, forgetting breaking my roommate's custom-designed bed, forgetting having the telephone line installed in our dorm room, forgetting the picture of the ace of spades that Asen kept hidden under the floorboards of his deck, forgetting Brian's Japanese-American girlfriend who wound up in bed with another brother after too much liquor. I was forgetting that this had all started in WJJL on Main Street, where Scott and I listened to the announcements for the first parties on CFNY. I was forgetting this computer engineering class at University of Buffalo, forgetting the physics I took in high school, forgetting how I ran for class president and lost to Eugene Williams, forgetting Quick Basic and the Electronic Data Systems Cooperative, forgetting my crush on Emily when she sang Bette Midler for our graduation, forgetting the electronic music workshop and the people who taught me to compose, forgetting sitting on Karen's back porch with Rob plotting our final yawp at class day, forgetting sitting on the rock above the whirlpool with Rob and us after lunch at Emperor of China, forgetting selecting the engagement band at Zales in Summit Park Mall, forgetting the 2 proms I attended with the same girl, forgetting that same girl as I left her on Regent Avenue, far behind the shadow to dive into Nitrous 013, forgetting my mother and father who labored day and night so that I could attend private schools, forgetting Ike, Chris, and the Boys Club kids on Portage and Niagara who taught me how to use the Apple, forgetting how to play Axis and Allies, which I discovered in Huntsville, forgetting the role-playing games and the people I collected and left for my own peace of mind, forgetting the summer bicycle camp which took me through Genesee County and Batavia, forgetting taking Jennifer out alone on a sunfish on Silver Lake during the regatta, forgetting a picnic lunch with Tammy, who taught me to write poetry to go with my music, forgetting spending an afternoon in a wave pool with Misha, forgetting to speak Japanese with Charlene, and then taking her to a Fugazi concert at Buff State, forgetting the red-haired girl that helped me obtain Depeche Mode 101 on videotape, forgetting watching my first PG-13 movie with a long-haired Jennifer and seeing Charlie take Tom Cruise's breath away, forgetting bowling at Bowladrome on Pine Avenue with Paula and my brother and sister, forgetting Valentine's Day at the Red Coach Inn with Michelle, forgetting programming color macros for CNET on the Commodore 64, forgetting rides out to Glenn's house in Lockport and Wilson to learn about PCs, forgetting the thrown chestnut incident on Lewiston Road near DeVoe Manor, forgetting being kicked in the head by Rob in Hyde Park at a picnic in the fall, forgetting my math teacher who died of cancer, forgetting my grandmother whose estate bought me the Ensoniq sampler, forgetting my grandfather who lived just long enough for Joshua to be born, forgetting my aunts and uncles and their families, forgetting that I should have taken pride in my work and kept it behind the closed door of my tiny goblin green bedroom. In an instant after that final thought, she was there, my crystal princess. She had long brown hair and ruby slippers, and all I can call her now is Dorothy. I never knew her real name. I left my half-finished cup to rest on the tight fibers of the carpet when she asked me if I was okay and if I wanted to dance. She put my hands on her shoulders and started slow. While in motion, I looked at my chrome watch and realized that I had been motionless for an hour. I also noticed that I was still holding the cigarette butt. I let the paper fall. I watched her chest heave with the music and followed their downward motion to her feet. They rested beneath the edge of her long cotton shirt, beyond the rustling cut strings of torn blue jean, and they were clicking together. I didn't have to count. They had hit many more than 3 times. I saw her face and she smiled back at me. I smiled back. Her eyes were narrow, and I could feel that we were both sweating, like the clouds fogging the windows from the inside. Sweat that comes from just under the surface to make the skin of the face glow. It was all over both of us. I ran my fingers through my hair, and it spiked up, and I saw many figures of her dancing inside her platinum aura. She was here to take me home. In that instant, I realized that what I was forgetting was remembering. I had somewhere to go. The end of my time in the tower in the Emerald Patch was here. I kissed her sweaty lips and we walked past each other